Hello, Cancer, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We're going to be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate for everyone, and they won't resonate for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation, if there is anything at all, and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed, especially if you're a cross watcher. Just know that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Cancer. We're going to start with looking at overall energy for the connection through oracle cards, and then we're going to pull deeper into the story, or we'll go deeper into the story with tarot. We'll pull from tarot a little bit later on in the reading. So let's start, Cancer, with your side of this connection. Passion. Shattered. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is it kind of feels like a spark that burns out really fast. It's like it was intense, obviously passionate, a lot of emotions involved, a lot of feelings, and then just something, and then just like shattered. I don't know if it's like explosion or if it's like hitting a dead end almost. Yeah, because then you have unfinished business. So there's this energy of you feeling like there's unfinished business here. It happened quick. Something happened quick. But there is a lot of passion associated with this. And I feel like maybe sometimes when you have connections like that, it's like such a whirlwind that it almost leaves you with like your head spinning. And you're like, whoa, what just happened? And I kind of feel like that's your energy toward this here, Cancer. This person's energy toward Cancer. What does Cancer need to know about this person's energy toward them? Robotic. Love. And then you have unfinished business. So it feels like it was super intense. And then this person almost kind of withdrew. And there it became robotic, like emotionless, almost like going through the motions, or like it's like they turned cold in a sense. It's like from love to robotic. And this unfinished business card represents that for both people here, there is this feeling of unfinished business. So to me, it feels like this connection never reached its potential. And I feel like you know that. I feel like that's what maybe you're stuck on here, or why this is still showing up in your energy. But I do understand why this would be confusing, because this feels like a switch. It's like they switched up on you. And I'm wondering what happened. I feel like you're like, same. I'm also wondering what happened. Truth of this connection between Cancer and this person. Truth of this connection. Euphoria. You have codependency. Okay. Because remember, the deeper purpose of this connection, or or this middle section is about the deeper purpose of this connection. I feel like with this Euphoria card, I get this like blinded by the light card. It feels like things felt so good and were so intense that there was almost this, it's like you were blinded to some sort of truth. There's some deeper energies at play here that you might not be fully aware of that affected things. And I feel like the emotional highs of this, it feels like we're almost addicting. But the emotional lows were incredibly painful. So there's a lot to jump into here, for sure, because it's obvious that this wasn't like a slow burn kind of connection for you. This was quick. And that doesn't mean necessarily like time frame was quick, but I feel like it was like head first into this just intense 0 to 100 kind of energy. And then something happening, leaving you in particular here, Cancer, I feel like pretty overwhelmed and confused. So hopefully we can get a little bit of clarity. Overall theme of this reading for Cancer. There will be a return. You didn't mean it. You moved on. All right, Cancer. I feel like you have a tendency to, like, I feel like you have like a weak spot for this person. And I'm not saying you are weak, but I feel like for whatever reason, this person affects you more than you've ever really experienced before. And therefore, with this you didn't mean it card, I feel like you have a tendency to overlook a lot of this person's behavior and almost justify it in a way. It's like there's a lot of empathy here for the way that they've acted, maybe even understanding why they did the things that they did, why they withdrew, or like whatever really happened here. And I feel like this there will be a return card is more of like less about this connection itself. Maybe this person will be returning, but almost like a warning, like a needing to pay attention to not repeating some sort of pattern because you don't want to end up back in the same place, right? Because the Shattered card, I feel like this was you for a while. Your heart feeling shattered, you feeling shattered almost because of how things unfolded here. So it kind of feels like there's something you're needing to know or see or address. Let's just keep going. All right, Cancer side of this connection, passion with Shattered. One more. Cancer side of this connection. Three of Wands here. So this connection pushed you outside of your comfort zone in a lot of ways. And I feel like it made you feel things that you've never really felt before. And I feel like that didn't seem intentional. I feel like there was this part of you that it almost feels like you knew. I don't know if you were moving quickly or if like you knew things were moving faster. But I feel like you kind of jumped headfirst anyway into this because it felt so good. Now, this Eight of Swords represents kind of feeling trapped almost. And I feel like you got to a point in this connection where you felt like your happiness in this was heavily or your happiness in general almost was heavily dependent on this person. And maybe that's why you have this codependency card. It almost feels like so much of your and that's kind of the emotional high. It's like when things were good in this, I feel like you were feeling good. Maybe you felt good about yourself, you felt confident, you felt good about your life. But then when things were bad, it's like it like changed your perception of yourself almost. I feel like so much, like this connection affected so many different areas of your life. And I feel like, so you have the Three of Wands, Eight of Swords, Judgment, World, King of Swords in reverse, and the Lovers in reverse. I feel like there's some sort of cycle that you've been trapped in, whether it's with this person or with similar dynamics. And I feel like it's the cycle of things being really intense and then burning out quickly. And the goal is to sustain, right? We want healthy, sustainable love, right? If we're looking for what's meant for us, it's going to come in that form of healthy, sustainable love. But it feels like you keep attracting either different people or specifically this person where it's really intense, but then it kind of burns out. It's super emotional highs to super emotional lows. And I feel like that keeps you coming back almost to the connection, or like kept you coming back to connections like this because the emotional highs feel so good. And it almost, the best way that I can explain this with this King of Swords in reverse, it almost feels like it's like you knew things were unhealthy, but you talked yourself into, and that's maybe the justifying. Yeah, with the you didn't mean it, justifying this person's actions. It's almost like, but you were so attached to the connection because of how good it made you felt that it almost feels like this is what I meant by like the best way I can describe it, like gaslighted yourself into believing that it was okay. And what I mean by that is almost like, oh, well, they didn't mean this, or yeah, they did these things, but they'll change, or they really love me, or they really care about me. And it's not that they didn't, okay? Because they have love here, right? It's not that they didn't. But I feel like it's like rose-colored glasses galore. I feel like you saw this person through the lens of who they were when they made you feel good, that almost like you looked past who they were when they made you feel not so good. And that, in that sense, it's like because you were craving those highs and the connection and that feel-good energy, I feel like you even got to a point where you would try and do whatever you could to maintain those highs. But no matter how hard you tried, it feels like the highs would never be maintained. Eventually the lows, this person would withdraw, the lows would eventually hit. And then that's when the Lovers in reverse kicks in and you're experiencing way less than what you deserve. So this cycle, I mean, addicting. Like, that's the best way I can describe this. I feel like it was really addicting. I mean, when we're in relationships with people that take us to super high highs and super low lows, we quite literally get addicted to those highs, just like we do in, just like we can get addicted to any other substance. It's toxic when things start to turn unhealthy. We sometimes don't even realize that that's happening, but we're so like addicted to the way that somebody makes us feel that we're willing to wade through or put ourselves through the times when things feel so crappy to hold on to hope for when things can feel good again. And I feel like you're really needing to get yourself like out of the cycle and off of this roller coaster so that you can have the love that you are ultimately deserving of. Because you deserve somebody who makes you feel good and is capable of sustaining that, who can make you feel good in a healthy way, right? It's not these intense highs and these intense lows, but it's highs and lows because no relationship's perfect, but it's not so unhealthy. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. Because I feel like things turned unhealthy, but like you didn't mean for it to. I don't know how it did or what happened here. So let's get this person's energy toward you. Because well, okay, I'm going to just keep pulling. Okay, this person's energy toward Cancer. Yeah, that's where that blinded by the light is coming from. You were blinded by the good that it's like you were so willing to put up with really not good here. This person's energy toward Cancer. But I feel like the good times were like not, sorry, I'm trying to finish this thought, like channeling new thoughts. It's like the good times were not, like those were the ones that it was like the good times were always quick. They were intense, they were passionate, but they were quick. And then like, it's like, then you would put up with like longer periods almost of not so good energy. So you have this star here. This person's energy toward Cancer. This person liked the way you saw them. I feel like, there's that world. I feel like you made them feel, whoa. You made them feel good about themselves in a way that they never really had felt before. And I feel like that was kind of a mutual thing here. This Emperor in reverse with the Queen of Wands is very telling for sure. First of all, you could have been dealing with a fire sign. So Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, but you definitely don't have to be. Okay? It does not have to be a fire sign. Because I do feel like in general, this person is just got a fiery, passionate energy. It's like they're just intense. Not in like they're intense in a serious way. That's not what I mean. But just like all or nothing. And then they have this Emperor in reverse, which represents this need for control in their relationships. And I think that what happened here, well, let me keep going. I think I know what's happening, but I want to make sure. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Page of Wands, the Five of Cups, and then the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. This person struggled to commit to this connection in a healthy way. And I feel like a lot of that stems from this need for control. I feel like this person, well, based on this Five of Cups and the Page of Wands, this person's been disappointed a lot when it comes to relationships. And I feel like both people in this connection could recognize how good this felt. And it feels like this person was actually kind of spooked by that. And when things started getting intense, they would start to withdraw emotionally because it was their way of protecting themselves. It was their way of maintaining control. It was their way of not allowing themselves to get too close almost. And then I feel like what happened during those periods is then you find yourself trying to do what you can. I said this, it was like you were trying to find yourself doing whatever you could to maintain those highs, because when the lows happened, like when this person withdrawed and things started to come to the surface because of that, I feel like you then did whatever you could to pull them closer. It's like you were trying to pull them closer while they were actively trying to push you away. It's almost like you saw this person. Oh, that's so interesting. They liked the way that you saw them because they feel like you saw them as the person that they wanted to be, but didn't believe that they were. So it's like you saw things in them that I feel like they couldn't see in themselves. But it's almost like they expected to, and I want to just take a second. When we're reading this energy, we're reading into the subconscious. We're getting below the surface. This person, if they have not developed like emotional or self-awareness enough to be able to understand themselves on this level, they might not even realize that this is why they're doing this. Okay? The hot, cold, push, pull energy can literally just be reactive. But what I'm getting at is it's almost like you saw them for the person that they wanted to be, but since they struggled to believe that they could be that person, it's almost like they had inherited, especially with the Page of Wands, a lot of ideas about their worth and their value through their past experiences. Again, they've been disappointed a lot, right? So they've internalized in some way, I'm unworthy or undeserving of love. So they liked how you saw them because I feel like they saw that you saw them as someone who was worthy of love, but they didn't believe that they were. So their withdrawal from this wasn't coming from a place of trying to hurt you, but from a place of trying to maintain control, trying to protect themselves. Now, here's where I feel like things get tricky is you might be very aware of that. You might have a complete and total understanding or empathy for their behavior. And I think that that's why you have this like justification tendency for them is like, I feel like you have a tendency to be like, oh, well, they do these things because they don't feel good enough for love or they don't feel lovable or whatever the case is. But that doesn't mean that you're deserving of the ways that they're unable to love you and commit to you because of where they're at in their own journey, right? Unconditional empathy and love does not equal unconditional tolerance because that's when it becomes toxic empathy. Toxic empathy is coming from this place of putting somebody else's feelings ahead of your own, like on a pedestal to the extent where you're saying, you are more important than me. Like your feelings, your happiness is more important than mine. And sometimes it even becomes, and I said that, it was like your happiness was dependent on the connection. I feel like so much of your happiness in this came from making sure you were making this person happy. So then when this person was unhappy or when they were withdrawn, it's almost like you took it from this place of, this must, like personally, like this must mean that I'm not good enough or I'm not valuable enough or I did something wrong or whatever the case is. And I'm not saying you were 100% perfect. We all make mistakes, but I certainly feel like you, in this connection in particular, I feel like you showed up in the best way you knew how. And I think that this person did too, but I think that they have a lot that they're needing to address before they're going to be able to be what it is that you are looking for. Someone who can be consistent, who can commit, who doesn't run away when things get hard or intense or like at the first sign of conflict or at the first sign of... Because that's the thing, right? If they're afraid of disappointing you or not being what you see them as or what they feel they need to be for you, at the first sign of conflict, they're going to see that, or like the first sign of like things getting serious, they're going to see that from their perspective of their insecurity, right? They're already going to see this from this place of like, well, see, I knew this wouldn't work. Everybody always leaves, or love is always disappointing. Love always hurts. And so instead of facing it and dealing with it and working through it, it's just easier for them to turn their back, to withdraw, to become emotionless, to shut down. I feel like through that shutdown period, that's when you were really left to kind of fend for yourself in the connection. That's where maybe a lot of the anxiety lives and a lot of those like lower, the shattered emotions, right? We talked about the high highs and the low lows. Those low lows kind of lived in those periods where this person was withdrawn. I didn't say that right, but I feel like you get what I'm trying to say. In between this connection you have euphoria with codependency, we're going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into this, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. But before I hop on over, I do want to reiterate that I am holding a workshop on January 3rd. It is a Friday at 6 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be a live workshop over Zoom. If you cannot make the live event, there will be a recording available for everyone who purchases a ticket. The workshop is all about reclaiming your power to manifest the life that you desire. So it's really about stepping into your power so that you can co-create the reality of your dreams. And I am very, very excited about it. And I hope to see you guys there. If you have any questions about it or would like to purchase tickets, the link is in the description box below. Well, underneath the extendeds, I have like the workshop info. It's going to say like reclaiming your power to manifest the life you desire workshop info. If you click on the link there, which is going to take you to another video on my channel, in that description box is all of the information that you're going to need. All of the information on the event, ways to purchase tickets, everything there. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment in that video or shoot me an email. My email address is always in the description box of my readings. Thank you so much, Cancer, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Cancer.